So, in the build up to the by elections in Akwetia, um, we are here to ask you what's your general view and how prepared are you towards this by elections?
Thank you for the occasion given me. I rang on the 7th of July. We heard the news of the passing of our Member of Parliament for Akwetia in the person of Honorable N.S. Yakumi. The news came as a shock to us because we never heard of his sickness and we never heard anything of the sort. But all of a sudden, within the hours of from the dawn to 8 a.m., he has passed on. So it was a surprise to all of us. But the Constitution of Ghana also has limitation as to what can be done about it. So then we have to meet at National Council. National Council formed a committee of 7 to look into the selection of a replacement for Honorable N.S. Yakumi. So we had an extensive engagement with them. And after the engagement, what we picked from the engagement is that because of the way he passed on, the constituents and the party want to honor him. So they are not in favor of the primaries, internal primaries to select a candidate. But rather, we should do an extensive consultation to select those who have shown interest in replacing him. So we did a lot of consultation and we arrived at the conclusion that we announced on Monday by selecting Kwame Asumegu Solomon as a replacement for Honorable N.S. Yakumi. And if you can see around the euphoria that the young men from Buedua and Akwetia constituency are welcoming the news of Solomon Kwame Asumegu as a replacement for Honorable N.S. Yakumi in his 6-month tenure in Parliament. It's going to be a well for us and it's going to go way for us.
Honorable Henry Boache, who was the parliamentary candidate, in fact, the former MP for Akwetia constituency, challenged the parliamentary results in court after the polls in 2024, of which a month ago the Supreme Court ruled on. This means that the NDC feels that they have some level of support in the constituency. Here we are going into a by-elections. As a regional secretary, what data is in place, and based on your data, how convinced are you that this by-elections is going in the favor of the New Patriotic Party?
Let me say this to you. No proper general, a military general or a war general display his strategy outside. But let me chip in this too. If they believe they won the election convincingly, why are they holding primaries? They should have come with the Honorable Boache. They should have settled on him. If they believe they won the election fairly, the selection of a candidate for them shouldn't have gone to the extent that they are going to hold primaries to select another one. It means they know they lost the election, but they were trying to use other crude means to get the seat. But if they have confidence that they are going to win, and they won, they should bring the former MP who contested with Honorable N.S. Yakumi.
History will tell us that we've seen violence in Akwetia elections. In 2012, between Dr. Kofi Asare and then Baba Jama, 6 polling stations, there was a rerun in Akwetia. We saw the violence and what happened in Akwetia. We've seen Abdulkumanov just about a month ago. We've seen the violence. People, some of your party people are calling for vigilante groups again, which I know that we have a legislation against. But a lot of your party people are calling for these groups again, macho men to be at the police stations and whatever. What measures when it comes to security? Because it looks like you guys don't believe in the police or whatever. Are you of the same view as those outside, or you have a different strategy for it?
I can say desperate situation calls for desperate measures. We have put in a lot of measures so far as Akwetia by-election is concerned. And like I said, when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it.
So another question that's going around is that, as you mentioned earlier, you guys didn't hold any primaries you went ahead and then selected who you think is capable of being the next MP for Akwetia. Doesn't that breach any democratic rules in your party or whatsoever?
No, let me quote Article 12 of the party constitution to you. We have Article 12 and Article 13 of our party constitution. When you get Article 12 talks about a parliamentary election, the title of the Article 12 is selection of parliamentary candidates. But when you go to Article 13, which talks about presidential election, it talks about election of presidential candidate. The two articles are not the same. In a situation where who else can prevail, we go for selection. We've done it before. Upper Manya constituency, we won it for the first time by selecting a candidate. You know, it's up to the strategy that you employed. Constituency strengths are not the same. When we go to Ashanti region or any of our strongholds and there is a by-election, we can decide to go for an election as part of the selection process, because election is part of selection. Every constituency has its peculiarity and the dynamics are not the same. So we chose to calm situation here by going through that route. But we haven't breached any constitutional issues so far as the process that we use is concerned.
Citing two examples, it feels that mostly after your by-elections, the one who replaces the one who passed sometimes goes into the general elections after and then give out the seats. We've seen that at Mfansiman. We've seen that at Ayawaso West Wogon and others. Is that the case? Is that going to be the case of Akwetia, or this time you guys have other things you are going to do to put your seats?
We've put forward a lot of measures in place, like you could see. With the use of the process that we use in selecting, the process that we outlined in selecting of the candidates, if it could spark controversy, you'd have seen it going around. But it has been peaceful, and even in the process to announce whom we have selected, all the 6 aspirants who showed interest were there. It tells you how formidable and the unity that we have achieved and the success we have achieved in this constituency is concerned. I can tell you, we are not going to win Akwetia seat and lose it in the next election. The two examples that you gave, the Infantimai and Ayawaso West Wogon, Honorable Lydia Sarah Malasa won the constituency on 2 occasions. Ophelia Forsen also won the by-election. And we all know last election there was a bit of apathy towards the party, and you know, the same Ghanaians are trying to get into believing that if you are done with your 8 years, another person should come. So we are all studying. That is why I said we use a different approach for Akwetia. Let's see what the future holds. Maybe it's going to be the principle of which we are going to stand to replicate it in other areas as well.
Thank you very much.